All right, guys, welcome to the show. So today, yet again, an MSNBC host is going to go after Zionists. Look, got to keep it real. Ahmed is brave for doing this because, if he goes after Israel too much, they will axe his ass. We saw it with Mehdi Hassan. So it's very courageous. So we'll dive into that. We also have Sam Harris and Bill Maher get together and jack each other off relentlessly. You'll never guess what issue they're going in on. Just wait for it. Then we have a brand new far-right militia. It's MAGA figures getting together. Look, it looks like they're trying to recruit for the next January 6th style thing. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like, they never got over 2020. They think Trump won. Now they're getting armed and together for 2024. It's really not good. We'll get to Fetterman's mysterious car crash and what went on there. The U.S.'s illegal and undeclared war against Yemen's Houthis, and much more. Later on, we have Trump going after Biden and basically calling him a terrorist sympathizer. So everybody do me a big favor, subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time. It costs you absolutely nothing. And without any further ado, let's dive into it. So, as I said, Ahmed has been very brave. He's been very courageous over there on MSNBC doing these segments that at any minute could get his ass fired. We know that's a fact. So, he brings on a Holocaust scholar, Raz Siegel, and they talk about anti-Semitism, but it's a different kind of campus anti-Semitism that's been completely ignored. So let's watch and we'll break it down.
Do you see this as a type of anti-Semitism on campus that we are not talking about Jewish scholars and Jewish students punished for being too critical of Israel or being anti-Zionist?
Absolutely. I think we do indeed see here this is a sort of anti-Semitism. It's a very unfortunate case where, as I said, we see an attack on Jews and on Israeli Jews because of their identity and because, as I said, they dare to be anti-Zionist. They dare to critique state, a violent state, the state of Israel, and they dare to object to the narrowing down, right, of Jewish identity in the eyes of organizations like the JCRC and Minnesota and the Dakotas, the narrowing down of Jewish identity only to Zionism and to a loyalty to Israel. So this attack on other Jewish identities is actually a form of anti-Semitism. And we've actually seen an intensification of this anti-Semitism in relation to the attack against the encampments across universities in the U.S. and elsewhere in the world, because these encampments in the U.S. Included many Jews, and as we know, and they included Shabbat prayer services, and they included singing in Hebrew, and they included holiday dinners, Passover setters, nevertheless, the encampments were attacked as hotbeds of anti-Semitism, right, which is completely false, right? But not only that, we've seen an intensification of this discourse of anti-Semitism by accusing the Jews in the encampments as actually not being Jews, right? So this is a new level of intensifying this anti-Semitic discourse, right, by deciding that these Jews who are anti-Zionists, who dare to critique Israel, are not Jews anymore. I just want to say that there's an irony here, because this issue of Jews deciding that other Jews are not actually Jews has a history in the Jewish world. And the history is actually Orthodox and ultra-Orthodox rabbis accusing Zionists before the Holocaust in World War II of being not Jews, right? And now, of course, the tables have turned, and it's Zionists who accuse others of being not Jews because they dare not to be Zionists. So yes, we are actually dealing here with a form of anti-Semitism.
Wow. So let's break this down. Let me ask you a question. Who's getting banned on these college campuses? Who's getting banned? You know the answer. It's groups like Jewish Voice for Peace. It's groups like Not in Our Name. It's anti-Zionist Jewish groups that have been banned, and they've been banned from very, very early on. So let me get this straight. The college administrations are saying, we're not okay with these Jews getting together to protest Israel. We're against them having free speech rights to do that. We're opposed to that. So you can have a college banning Jews for their own political beliefs, and what? People just yawn at that? They act like that's nothing? As he points out, this is a kind of anti-Semitism, right? You're Jews who are doing wrong think, or as they would say, you're self-hating Jews. And so therefore, we're going to ban you. By the way, also as he points out, who was doing the violence, particularly at UCLA? Who was doing the violence? It was well-funded Zionist counter-protesters who attacked pro-Palestine protesters. They went after the encampment. They shot fireworks in there. They assaulted some people. A lot of those people who were getting assaulted are anti-Zionist Jews who are part of the pro-Palestine movement. So yet again, here we have some Jews being banned, some Jews being beat up and attacked and tried to have their free speech rights taken away by violent Zionist counter-protesters, and nobody, except in this context on this show, with this historian and Ahmed, nobody's calling this anti-Semitic. What do you want to call it? What word would you like to use? It's super authoritarian. It's a massive censorship campaign and a crackdown on free speech. But also, if you're targeting specifically anti-Zionist Jews, how is that not anti-Semitism? You're grouping this particular subset of Jews together and saying, you're banned. We're done with you. Now, imagine for a second, it was Zionist Jews that college campuses were like, we're going to ban all the Zionist Jewish groups. We're going to attack Zionist protesters. What would the reaction be? Literally every media outlet would be shrieking from the top of their lungs, anti-Semitism 24/7. They say anti-Semitism, and that hasn't happened. So why the disparity? Why the discrepancy? Why are the brave anti-Zionist Jews being castigated, shoved to the side, maligned, put down, smeared, but the Zionist Jews are being upheld? By the way, stop and think about this fact, right? This is something people haven't really grappled with. So Netanyahu comes out, and the Israeli government comes out, and they say, hey man, the state of Israel is representing all Jews. This is what they say. Israel equals Jew. The state of Israel represents all Jews. That's what Netanyahu says. Then he does a genocide. So he's trying to get the people, the rest of the world, to look at Israel doing a genocide and equate that with Jews doing a genocide. You tell me who's anti-Semitic. How is that not anti-Semitic? You're equating every Jewish person with the brutal, savage, barbaric actions of your Zionist, extremist, settler, colonial, ethno-state, theocracy government? That's you smearing all Jews by saying you're all responsible for this genocide that we're doing. You're violent by your very nature. No, that's unacceptable, and that is anti-Semitic. We've seen Netanyahu do literal Holocaust revisionism, where he said, oh yeah, there was a Palestinian mufti actually convinced Hitler to be violent against the Jews. Hitler just wanted to expel them, but it was this Muslim Palestinian mufti who convinced him, no man, you got to kill them. They literally do Holocaust revisionism to blame Arabs and Muslims for the Holocaust. Who else does Holocaust revisionism? Literal Nazis. What are we talking about here? So there's a very specific kind of anti-Semitism that doesn't get discussed. That never gets discussed. But they're bringing it up here on MSNBC. Shout out to this historian, and shout out to Ahmed, because again, I don't think people really understand. He could easily lose his job for the stuff that he's saying here. He could easily lose his job for it. And he's rolling the dice every time, because now he's relentless in how he's going after Israel. He's relentless in how he's busting up these narratives. Him, Ali Velshi, they're both very, very good. And then you have Mehdi, who was basically fired for, grilling Israeli government officials. So credit to him, man. You know he's taking a moral stand. You know he's taking an ethical stand, because it would be very easy to just pipe down and not talk about this. But he's doing the right thing. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.